What makes the steel mace a very unique training tool is its power of leverage. When you look at the tool in its nature, it's a long bar with a weighted end. The weight being all at one end, off the end of this long bar, creates a unique amount of torque within inside the body as the mace makes its motion around whatever exercise it is you are choosing to doing. Now let's take the deadlift for example here. You can see that we are lifting the mace like a normal bar first up. You will feel weight on one side of the body to a certain degree here, with our hands evenly placed from one end to the other. But if we move now to a closer grip, further away from the load end of the mace, you will see that it becomes extremely difficult to move even a small amount of weight. What this requires the body to do is to start contracting on the opposing side of the body to create stability, so you do not bend laterally from one side to the other. You might feel a slight shift to a dominating side of the body to be able to keep your balance, but the aim here is to stay as stable and in as normal position as possible throughout these movements. So what this does here, as we start to come into more dynamic movements, is while you are swinging a smaller weight, you'll start to feel more resistance placed on the body due to the velocity of the movement and the leverage of the load in terms of how far away from the body it is in relation to you. So this is what makes the mace and the steel club as well two very unique training tools that have very little competitors out there that can do the exact same in force production and applying force onto the body itself. So we can take very simple exercises like your deadlift, your squat, your presses, any of your traditional foundational movements, and we can make them a much more difficult exercise by utilizing the power of leverage. Outside of this, we can really increase, or also at the same time decrease, the amount of force that is applied on the body in your dynamic movements by where we have our hands in relation on the handle itself. So if we go back to our foundational movements again, the closer we have our hands together, but the further away from the weighted end of the mace, the more difficult you're going to find this particular exercise. What you'll also notice is there's going to be an element of push and pull on the same part of the mace to try and create that stability. Because if you're pushing with both hands or pulling with both hands, you're going to find that the mace is going to be incredibly unstable. But what you see here now is one hand will push on the end of the mace while the other one pulls to try and maintain a level balance on the mace itself. What this in turn will do is enforce the body to recruit more of its intrinsic stabilizers to keep the trunk, pelvis, and other parts of the body in a stable position throughout each movement that you are utilizing the power of leverage with. So rather than tilting your body to try and create a much more stable center of mass and center of gravity, which in turn can put you in a compromising position physically, placing stress on joints and muscles in an incorrect fashion, what you may also find is that it's going to change the tempo of your exercises as well as your breathing patterns. Because we have placed the lever load so far away from the body now, and the other muscles of the body are starting to activate to create that stability, what it may do is slow down our movements, because the body is not as capable and as able to move as fast as it normally does in this style of movement with this amount of force and stress placed upon it. It may also change your level of breathing too, requiring you to breathe in different patterns. So rather than breathing in on the exertion or breathing out on the exertion, it may cause you to swap your breathing patterns around and make your breathing much more focused, which will allow you to create more intra-abdominal pressure to provide you with more stability throughout each of these movements, depending on where you have the mace in relation to your center of gravity and the amount of lever force applied for the exercise that you are currently doing.